Move over, Macau, here comes Barcelona. No, not the real circuit, the fictional one from Grid. Confused yet? We're not, so follow us and watch right here, right now. For those of you who've never played Grid, you have missed something. Grid is not a simulation, it's a simcade, but it's great fun, it's well done, it's got enormously fun tracks. And today I'm gonna show you a track that I found, which is the Barcelona Grid track for Assetto Corsa. I'm gonna be driving and racing in a track that was made for a simcade with a simulation. It's not gonna end well. Okay, with me these races never end well, but it's gonna end even worse than normal. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's see if the maker of the mod has kept the spirit of the Grid Barcelona circuit. As in the original Grid games, all parts of Barcelona worth visiting are here. What a great conversion! And I think the best way of showing you how this track looks like, how well designed it is to make a track lap, and I'll show you the parts of the city also. Hey, 3 in 1, track lap, discussion about the look, and a tourist visit. All for the price of one YouTube video. Aren't we great to you? Isn't that worth a like and a subscribe? We start as always at the start and end straight. To our left is the port. In front of us is the Columbus statue, which makes for a nice chicane. Careful not to lose control of the car. At our right, the Atarazanas, where they built ships in the old days, and we are turning right. This straight will lead us to the entry of the Barcelona Fair with the 2 towers that are similar to Venice, I think. While we're making this big 180, take a look at the old bullfighting arena. Bullfights are forbidden in Catalonia, therefore it's not used for bullfighting anymore. You can take the next straight at full throttle, but careful, because at the end we have a 90 degrees turn to the left, and then in fast progression 90 degrees to the right, left, left, right again. A small chicane that you can take almost straight if you dare, but careful not to lose control of the car. At the end of the straight it's almost 90 degrees to the right. Then left, right. And in front, in the distance, you can see the Holy Family, Gaudi's masterwork, Sagrada Familia. At the end of this long ride, we'll see the Triumph Arch. Again a chicane, right, left. Small right. An almost straight part that ends in a right. While we are taking this straight, consider this information: most streets in Barcelona are this big, as Barcelona was one of the first cities that was planned in 1888. The planning started making the streets of Barcelona quite wide. Yeah, we left a left behind and a small straight, now right, and we are back at the start and end straight. This concludes our tour Barcelona in 2 minutes 10. Thank you very much. Don't forget to tip the driver. Oh yeah, and this mod is set up so that you can drive clockwise and counterclockwise, so you have 2 tracks in one. While I remember the track easily enough, of course, I'm driving it differently, as here the laws of physics apply much more than in Grid, and it's up to a point more difficult to drive, of course. Of course, because of the laws of physics, there's different ways to take this track when you're in Assetto Corsa. You can go aggressively over the curbs, but then risk unsettling the car, so choose your car wisely, put your setup correctly, or choose another racing line. If you don't roll over the curbs, your racing line is smaller, but I expect your braking points to be more varied. If you have played the grid games, then you will have to relearn how to race this track, as grid didn't care that much if you went over the curbs or not. Of course, your car could be totaled in grid, but much less easy than in Assetto Corsa. Believe me, I've done that. Another thing that is different in Assetto Corsa with relation to grid is, of course, that in grid you can bump into the other cars, especially in a small city track like this, and not much happens, while in Assetto Corsa you will often lose control of your car or break your car in very bad ways. If you've never played Grid, wait for the next sale. The Grid games are often as a package in sale, so go and get it because it's great to decompress. Me, after a day of recording Assetto Corsa or Assetto Corsa Competizione or whatever sim I've played that day, I like to decompress just playing one of the grid games, as I don't have to think about physics, I don't have to think that much about racing lines. It's not that they are easier than a sim. And still, or even because of that, they are lots of fun. Cut detected, what the hey? Assetto Corsa, I'm dumping you and I'm going back to grid. As far as I know, there are no motorsport events inside of the city of Barcelona, so this is completely fictional, not even Formula E. Now that I think of it, there is no Formula E in Spain, which is strange as the founder of Formula E is a Spaniard. If you've never been to Barcelona, what a pity, great city. Hey, it rhymes! I'm a poet! Most of the tracks in grid, at least in the first and second grid, if I remember correctly, not in grid motorsport, are city tracks. They are complete fantasy. And they show lots of things about the city, and with a city that has such fantastic architecture as Barcelona, this makes the track even more interesting. Of course, for an experience nearer to grid, especially in the race, you could turn a lot of the realism settings of Assetto Corsa off, but then again, you could play grid. One thing that I recommend though is to lower the aggressivity of the AI in Assetto Corsa, because if not, they're gonna bump heavily into you, pushing you into a barrier and finishing your race, and that's not why we're racing. Oh, what fun it is to run through Barcelona! It was fun enough in a grid, but I felt that it was even more fun on Assetto Corsa with this grid design. Somehow the realism from Assetto Corsa's physics made it even more interesting, because of course you have to take care of not unsettling the car, and you cannot drive as freely as with grid. With regards to the look, it looks fantastic. It looks as if I would be playing grid. It's a little bit different with regards to how the graphics feel. In grid they are more, I don't know, more gamey, and here they are a little bit more realistic. But the memories of grid and how to race this track awakened the minute I loaded it up. For the look, I give it 5 eyes out of 5. It's difficult to race here, and that is not so much because of the mod, but because of course this is a city track that is quite constrained. It's not made to race with realistic physics. It's made to be a challenge within a simcade, and as I said during the video, it's a good idea to reduce the aggressivity of the AI, as Assetto Corsa's AI is often enough too aggressive. They bump too much into you, and the minute they bump into you within this track, You crash into a railing and your race is over. But that does not have to do with the mod, that has to do with Assetto Corsa. For the racing, I give it 5 cars out of 5. With regards to the driving feeling, okay, the force feedback was not very good. I didn't feel that much the track. On the other hand, I don't feel it that much in Grid either. It's not the way I would wish it to be. I would have wished it more to be like in a sim. But it's good enough for this track, and it's good enough to relive the memories of Grid and to play it differently. For the driving feeling, I give it 4 wheels out of 5. All in all, I like the idea of racing a Grid track within Assetto Corsa, of having to race it differently. And while this is not a track that I'm gonna load every week or every half a year, but maybe once a year to have just some fun, it is a track that I can recommend, and I like the idea a lot. So let's see if I find the other tracks from Grid for Assetto Corsa or R Factor 2 or whatever. Talking about finding, you can find tons of videos sharing the joy of sim racing in our channel. And of course, thank you very much for watching this video. If you've made it until here, you are our hero. And if you like it, applaud by giving it a thumbs up and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell to become part of the RomRom family and to be informed about new videos. And if you already did, thank you very much for that. And until the next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other at the podium.
Visit romrom.net to connect to fellow sim racers and sim racing fans.